Baltimore Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti spoke with the media at the NFL meetings this week. He was asked about his vision for the Ravens for the next 30 years. Here's what Bisciotti said.
Impatience is good for you. I don't like waiting 12 years.
No.
I want to win now. I know what we can do. I know that we work to put ourselves in position to win. And we all get credit for that. And that's all you can do. And I hate it that every year you just have to start back over again. But you know what? This is not for the meek.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a shame if they are this good. They have been, is there an argument they have been the best regular season team in the NFL for 3 straight years? I mean, I'll say this, they have blown out more top 10 teams in the league than anybody else the last 3 years.
In the regular season.
I mean, they blew out Detroit. Remember a couple years ago when they blew out Miami and Detroit and San Francisco. They blow out in the regular season very good playoff
Why don't
teams.
they do that in the playoffs?
Well, they outthink the room sometimes. I mean, don't blame Lamar.
Oh, well, it's funny.
A couple of drops by
Mark
his
Andrews, yeah, that's fair.
reliable weapons.
So we have a chart. I don't know where they came up with this, Colin.
Where'd the chart come from?
Seasons with multiple playoff wins for quarterbacks who have multiple MVPs. Now, this is crazy. I didn't know this. Lamar Jackson's never had a postseason where he won 2 games, ever. It's win, loss, or lose in the first.
Listen, I have no argument here. You win the argument.
This is obscure, but it's like, why can't you just stack back-to-back playoff wins?
He's also the youngest quarterback on that list. He is a very young kid.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a young kid as well.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is older than him. I think, what is Lamar Jackson, 26 years old? He's like it's incredible how young he is.
He is, yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this. They get out coached. That's why they don't win back-to-back playoff games. I'm not going to go in a whole like let's defend Lamar Jackson because I've already done that many times. I understand, even against like the Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson did not play perfect, especially in the beginning of that game. But then he absolutely played good enough to lead that team back to a win. And the team around him failed. That's on the team, not him. We've seen countless times Patrick Mahomes not start off games well. Super Bowls and then still win, and he gets all the praise. Imagine if Travis Kelce just had butterfingers and dropped the ball. So you just can't do that. Matthew Stafford winning a Super Bowl, throwing interceptions, and Joe Burrow throwing interceptions and still winning, playoff games, conference championship games, et cetera. So that falls on deaf ears in a lot of ways. But it's coaching. Blowing out teams doesn't matter to me as much because you can be a team that's really good that once you have a healthy lead that you're great at really piling on, that you're really great at doing that. That's why a game, and I think Collinsworth highlighted this beautifully against the Ravens, against the Bills. The Bills, got blown out by the Ravens, and it doesn't mean, I forget what the exact final score was. Let's just make up a number. Let's just say they beat them by a final score of like 30, which I don't think it was that high, but even if it was, it doesn't mean that you're 30 points better than the Bills, right? It was just, and Collinsworth kind of talked about like that once you kind of have this healthy lead, the Ravens are going to be so good at taking chances defensively that are just going to be so much more suffocating and cause a team like the Buffalo Bills problems. So it's just like you get to kind of stack on that. But that means that you have a layer of greatness to you, but it doesn't automatically mean that that's how superior you are. Look no further than the Bills versus the Ravens in the playoffs now. Like that was obviously completely changed. Look how the Bills played the Chiefs compared to how the Ravens played the Chiefs. Like, so it's just, we know how close those teams are to each other, especially in the playoffs when it matters most. So blowouts are interesting to me, but they you need to kind of figure out how you got there, how it unfolded. Sometimes it means a lot, sometimes it means a little, sometimes it means nothing. But it does hold more weight, of course, when you do it against a great team. But sometimes, whatever can go wrong does go wrong for a team, and then that's how you kind of get the score that you get. The Eagles dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Do I think that if we play that game 5 times, that all 5 times the Eagles dominate in that way, and that the Chiefs don't even get, like, what did they have, 1 first down in the first half, or whatever the heck it was? They crossed didn't take them until like the end of the third quarter to cross the 50. Like, do I think that's what it would look like every time they played? Of course not. Of course not. But it's still clearly, when you dominate in a win like that, you still kind of show we are the better team, right? Like, at least in that moment. And I think it would have been fair to say that the Baltimore Ravens were the better team than the Buffalo Bills. But then again, execution and coaching. Execution and coaching. That's why the Ravens have been unable to win these back-to-back games. And you can argue that execution is a direct result of the coaching. So, and, terrible penalties. Like, you could point. Yes, we could say Lamar Jackson needed to play better against the Chiefs in 23 and the Bills in 24. Like, you could make that argument. And it's not an incorrect argument. But it overlooks all of the other glaring issues. The coaching, the game plan, the decision making, the execution could have been and should have been significantly higher against the Bills. There was the one play in the red zone, the one drive in the red zone where they were at like the 2 or wherever they were, and they didn't hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. That's indefensible. That's indefensible. So yeah, what's his face fumbled the ball in the first quarter, in the first half, whatever. I get it. That's a little bit out of your control. It's not out of your control to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry in the red zone and score a touchdown. That's within the realm of your control. That's a decision that you, as an organization, as a coaching staff, that you failed to make. It's that simple. It's that simple. Same thing now in the year before, in 23. You ran the ball like 6 times or something with a running back, like actual hand the ball off to a running back. Like, that's indefensible. Having players get unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, 15-yard penalties, etc., that's indefensible. You are in the AFC Championship game, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. You have the superior team. Clearly, that's indefensible. It's indefensible to have a bizarre game plan. It's indefensible to get away from the run. That's coaching. To have terrible, to have this team not prepared to understand this game's going to get chippy. This game is going to get a little crazy. The weather is a little murky. We're going up against the Chiefs. I need all of you to focus. You're not talking trash. You're not getting any penalties. None of it. We're just going to do our job. Like, the fact that was not clear is awful. And we know it wasn't clear because there was multiple penalties of that. And they were devastating. It's the difference between scoring touchdowns and winning games and losing. So to me, it becomes very simple, very straightforward. Could there have been moments when Lamar Jackson could have been even more heroic and overcome some of those things? Sure. But, let's not pretend that that's Peyton Manning's story. Let's not pretend that that's even Patrick Mahomes' story. I'm not even so sure that it's 100% Tom Brady's story. Had he had his moments? Have all those quarterbacks had their moments? Yes. Has Lamar Jackson had his moments? Yes. The difference is, with Tom Brady's heroic comeback against the Atlanta Falcons, his defense still needed to get the job done. His receivers needed to catch the ball. You needed some spectacular catches from, in various Super Bowls now, from Julian Edelman, from Gronk, etc. You needed that perfect blitz, that perfect play dialed up from Spags for Patrick Mahomes. You needed Jimmy Garoppolo to overthrow whoever the heck he was thrown to, in the Super Bowl. You needed that. So you just got to look at this from a more complete picture. But yeah, this is when you look at a stat like this, and it gets too narrow. Seasons with multiple playoff wins among quarterbacks with multiple MVPs, who play on Sundays, who are 6'3" or smaller. Like, you start to get very narrowly specific. But regardless, when we look at a list of all these great quarterbacks and we see Lamar Jackson, you say, okay, why aren't we winning multiple playoff games? What are we doing here? Where are we going wrong? And if you want to be the most complete, then you would say coaching, execution, and then actual just, game of day play, which then you could put like Lamar Jackson under that lump. But I maintained the last 2 seasons why they did not win multiple playoff games comes down to coaching. And it did directly cause them a Super Bowl, especially in 23. Scoring 10 points in the conference championship game where Brock Purdy and Shanahan scored more points. Like, that alone is like, what? Huh? The team that you rolled and dominated on Monday night or Sunday night, where you beat up Brock Purdy so bad that Sam Darnold came into the game, and there was like actual whispers of Brock Purdy potentially being an MVP. And they were like, nah, not today. Only to then have in the playoffs, you put up 10 points against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it's just not, like, that becomes not acceptable. And when you watch that game, to me, that's like the most perfect game to watch. Because watch how Lamar Jackson is just left on an island. Watch that game. He is left on an island. It's just call hike and say, please try your best. It is so high school. It is, we got the best athlete. We got him at quarterback. We got nothing else. We just need the ball in your hands. Please try your best to make something happen, because we got a bunch of guys that will never play in college ever. But like, you're obviously a freak athlete, so try your best. Like that, it's just so low level high school to me. That's what it feels like. We just got to call hike for you, and you're the best. You just you got to try your best. That's what it felt like to me. Just someone left on an island. That's coaching. That's 100% coaching. Let me know all the times that Andy Reid has left Patrick Mahomes on an island. I'll wait. Let me know how many times Tom Brady in that offense, whether you want to credit to Bill Belichick, offensive coordinator, whatever, how many times was he just left on an island? Like, never. At the very least, the defense held their own. And if they needed Tom Brady to be like, hey, do some magic, like, at least the defense could hold their own. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. As Drew Brees so beautifully illustrated, that like a lot of these comeback wins or a lot of these big games that Patrick Mahomes has won, the defense has stopped the opposing team from either coming back or getting the ball back for Patrick Mahomes. Like, the defense has majorly stepped up. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? We have a window now with Lamar. Yes, thank you, Mr. Owner man. That is some knowledge being dropped. And I love how Harbaugh's just like nodding his head. He's like, yeah, definitely. We have a window now. Lamar Jackson, he's a great quarterback. Yeah, thanks. We got that. Glad we figured that out. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.